This is Thor with Creative Twilight. Thought I'd do a quick little video on painting, so I figured I'd do a little painting tutorial. Try something different. Today I'm going to work on this Grot here. It's for a trophy topper that we're doing for the Standish Standoff, a big 40-player tournament we're doing locally in Standish, Maine. And since we need these quick and the highest quality isn't absolutely necessary, I thought I'd do a quick little tutorial on doing a tabletop quality miniature. So we're going to start with this little goblin here, or the Grot, as you can see. Sorry, the lighting's kind of terrible. I've primed them black. I prime everything black. I just like the way the colors come out, and I tend to enjoy the darker colors. So this is the start, and what I'm going to do is give him a base coat. And what I'm using here is a very old bottle of Vallejo. I believe it's called Goblin Green, if I can barely make it out from here. I've had this bottle for about 6 years and still hasn't run out. So that's what I'm going to start with, and then I'll come back when I've got that done and continue on to the next step. Alright, we're back. So as you can see, I have the base coat of Goblin Green on this guy. Hopefully the lighting isn't too terrible here. And so he's base coated. You'll notice it's a little sloppy. All of my base coats, I don't concern myself too much about how clean I get it on, whether I'm hitting other parts, because what you want to do is you want to work from the inside out. So in this case, we're starting on the skin tone, since it's the sort of the lower recess portions of them, and then as we work our way up and do the pants and the straps and the various other parts, then you tend to get a little cleaner with it and try to avoid brushing onto other surfaces. But when you're starting off in the lower areas, get a little sloppy, it doesn't matter. So now that I've got the skin done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and work on his pants and some of these straps. I'm going to do these in a couple of shades of browns, which I'll show you once I get that done, and I'll be back in a minute. Alright, we're back, and as you can see, I've done the pants and I've done the straps. On the left is the Beastie Brown. This is what I used for the pants. And then the straps I did in the leather brown. One of the things I like to do with the works and grots is I tend to work in a similar color tone. So with the browns, I tend to work in colors that are basically a step apart. I feel it just helps give them a very primitive look, which is what I imagine with them. So it just tends to be how I work with these guys. And the other nice part too is if you're going to go a little beyond the quality I'm working on today, the leather brown is a great highlight for the Beastie Brown. So the nice part is you're not having to reach for a whole bunch of different colors for highlights on your base coats and everything, because you have all the colors you're working with and they all work together. That's the other nice thing, and it's great when you're working on a lot of models. Is this going to save you a ton of time just working with so few colors, which is a really good key for getting large units done fast like works. So now what I'm going to work on is I'm going to pull out the metallics and work on the guns, pick out his belt buckle, and then I'm going to go ahead and just pick out his teeth and eyes and do all that in one step here, and I'll be back once I take care of that. Alright, we're back again. As you can see, I got the metallics done. I picked out the pistols, his little belt buckle on the front here. Oh shoot, I forgot a belt buckle on his chest. I'll grab that in a minute. And then I did the little shells on the back of the strap here. I just painted them in red. I didn't pick out the teeth and nails because I remembered the next step, which I'll show you, is I'm going to be using washes for everything. Washes are a great time saver. They do what they're supposed to do, and they shade really well, and they shade really naturally, and I'm a huge fan of them. So when you're going for something that's tabletop quality, you don't want to spend a lot of time, definitely make use of washes. They're a great investment, and I'll show you what it looks like once we get into the washing process, which is what I'm going to start next. So I'm going to go ahead and wash the skin with green, and I'll be back and show you what that looks like. So I've gone ahead and applied the green wash, the camo shade over here. It's a GW shade, used to be called the wash. And you can see how it's gone ahead and created the shadows for us. When applying this, you kind of have to go pretty heavy, because if you don't, it's just going to sort of color the skin, in this case, as opposed to just sitting in the recesses. So you have to go a little high with it. As you can see on the arm, it's sitting in the recesses. Same thing on the front here, you can see where it's naturally traveled to the recesses, so it creates a really nice natural shadowing look without really any work at all. So now that I've gone ahead and done that, what I'm going to do is go back and wash the metallics on him, wash the browns. Basically, I'm going to wash absolutely everything, and then I'll be back once I've taken care of that. So I've gone ahead and washed the metallics on the gun, the buckle. I've also washed the browns down. The browns, I used the Ajax Earthshade over here. For the metallics, I used the Newland oil. Again, Games Workshop washes. So you can see here, I might have a little too much light, but again, you can see the shading from the washes. And a tip when you're doing this, especially when you're getting to the higher points, once you've washed the skin, you don't want to get the other washes on the skin, is when you're using your brush. I'm doing this one-handed, so this is a little tricky. And you have your brush loaded up. You want to start in the middle area and then work the wash down. So that way when you get down closer to the skin, it's not so thick and it's not going to pool up and run down onto the skin. So just sort of start from the middle and work out. And that'll make it pretty easy to avoid, running your washes onto parts you don't want it on. So what I'm going to do next here is I'm going to do a quick simple highlight on the goblin. I'm going to use the same color I used for the skin, the goblin green, and I'm also now going to go and pick out the teeth and the nails now that I've got the washing done, because I didn't do it prior. I didn't want the washes to run onto those small pieces, which would be really hard to avoid. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be back once I've taken care of that. Okay, so I've gone ahead and done the minimal highlighting I'm going to do, as well as picking out the nails and the teeth. So for the teeth and the nails, what I did was a base coat of the bone white, and then I hit the very edges of it with the dead white, or the pure white. It's a simple two-step layering process, and I find it works really well and looks good when it's done. It's the only layering in this technique I'm using. I went ahead and did the skin. I wound up doing the highlight with the livery green here instead of the goblin green. The goblin green was too close to the skin color and wasn't showing up enough. So I used the livery green, which is a yellow green, similar to the goblin green. And the only spots I hit with that, hopefully the light doesn't wash it out, is the end of his nose, the tips of his ears, and then the knuckles on his thumbs. Again, we're going simple. We're not doing multiple highlight layers, so I was just picking out the highest points on the highlight just to make it stand out a bit, and that was it. So this guy's all done. He's all washed. He's got the minimal highlights. The metallics I don't highlight because I find that the light naturally picks up the metallics and naturally highlights it, so you don't have to go ahead and do highlights on the metallics, at least if you're going for a quick paint job, and I think it looks pretty good. So here's a rear shot of the guy. So he's all done. All said and told, I probably spent maybe 15 minutes doing this at most. It was probably closer to 10 minutes. I spent more time actually waiting for the washes to dry than I did actually painting the model itself. So again, if you're looking for a quick way to do tabletop quality miniatures, definitely make use of washes. Hopefully this guy is a good showcase for what you can do with them in just a little time. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this, learned something from it, and if everyone likes what I'm doing here, I'll try to do more of these in the future, and until then, I'll catch you guys later.